Good evening. Excuse me. Okay, today we talk about amnesia and fugue state. I'm sure you've heard of amnesia. You may not have heard of fugue, but they're similar. Amnesia is, I'm just going to give you the definitions and stuff here in a minute. There are four types we're going to talk about quickly, but basically it is a partial or total inability to recall experiences which either in the past or in the future, which I'll explain as we go. So let me give you that definition first. I'll turn this off. Okay, that's better. Yeah, maybe that's better. Sorry. Okay. So there's amnesia. Okay, right here. Okay. Now there are two types, kind of two types, and then two causes. I guess we'll talk about that way. The first one is called anterograde, and that is where you lose the ability to remember things in the future, if you will, new things. You don't lose memories in the past. You just, once hi, this is Bill. Oh, hi, Bill. And then you can't remember who Bill is. But if you knew, Louise from 3 years ago, you still remember Louise. Okay, this is the most common type. And it's not, probably what you're thinking of as classic amnesia, I'm guessing. And by the way, I'm thinking about it. Most amnesia, frankly, episodes last from a few seconds to maybe a few hours, and then something happens. So don't picture this years and years and years. I mean, these are the cases that make better studies and all that, and they exist, but they're not as common. Okay, so that's anterograde. The second type is called retrograde. And this is what you're probably thinking of when you lose the ability to recall pre-existing memories of things, your parents' names, where you live, social security number, phone number, children's names, where you work, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's one. It's a little bit more. You kind of lose where you are, if you will. Here, you know where you've been. It's just a matter of where you're going, I suppose. Okay, so those are the two different types. And then the two different causes. Most amnesia is caused physically. Okay, it's like a physical cause. And these are simply called post-traumatic. This is called post-traumatic. Can you see that okay, hopefully? Well, this is the physical one. And this is due to a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury. Think about a car wreck, or you get hit in the head with a ball bat, or whatever kind of thing. I know somebody who got hit in the head with a golf club that had a little bit of issue with this for short term, and it came back in pieces and came back, but this is post traumatic, and then you've got the second kind was called psychogenic. If you can't read that, it's kind of messy. Psychogenic. Okay. And this is the mental type, and this could be due to stress, alcohol abuse, some sort of mental trauma, maybe a death, or seeing a horrific accident or some such thing. It's an ultimate repression, I suppose, kind of thing. And these are less common, but theoretically could last longer, because the mind arguably is more consciously trying to stop it from happening, if you will, from coming out. Whereas with the traumatic brain injury, it's just, it heals, and then there it is. Okay? So again, amnesia, not all that common, tends to last a few minutes to a few hours. Most causes are physical, and most commonly it's the kind where you don't remember things very well or at all going forward, as opposed to remembering or not remembering the back. Okay? So amnesia. Now, the second thing, and this is, I don't know, to me more interesting, it's called a fugue state. So bear with me while I erase and all this kind of stuff. And if you've never heard of this, well, here we go. Fugue is amnesia plus, if you will. Okay, so basically, let me see what I got written here. I'm just going to put it this way. It's amnesia with flight. flight, F-L-I-G-H-T. Okay. Oops. Great production value there. So fugue state, amnesia with flight. And what I mean by that is when a person gets amnesia, and this is going to be normally retrograde amnesia, and they might wander away from home. Maybe found a few hours later in the next town or other side of town. Something like that. In extreme cases, there have been stories about people who do this, and they end up, let's say they lived in Boston, and they end up in Phoenix, and they've got a new wife and kids and an entire family and a job and all of this structure around them, friends and neighbors and so on. And they've simply and they've got another one back in Boston, but they've forgotten about it. And, once in a while they'll either snap to, or somehow the previous wife finds the guy or something like that. And, it makes for great TV movies for sure. Okay. They'll assume a new identity. It won't be the same person necessarily. Maybe the same name, but it won't be the same. No, I was never an accountant. I work in construction or whatever it is, kind of thing. So basically, here where typically it's designed, it's kind of it's not going to be from getting hit in the head. This is more of a psychological thing where you've got this arguably unconscious desire to get away from the situation. So you flee, and you get away literally from those unpleasant thoughts, maybe an abusive situation, or you're just bored, maybe the ultimate midlife crisis, sorry. And so they use that in an attempt to get away from those problems. And that is, again, very rare, but it's pretty cool, actually. And I think I don't know if I can find them. There have been a couple of TV movies and stuff made about stuff like this where this happens, and I'm sure they dramatize it and all that. But yeah, that's fugue state. So I'll end it there. I posted an assignment for you today that is due quite a bit later because it's going to involve your choosing a couple of these disorders that we're covering. If you got, 2 more, dissociative and then schizophrenia, which schizophrenia will take a while. It'll take at least 2, probably 3 different videos, and that'll take care of us for the course. So, all right, take care. See you. Have a good evening.